Guys, so this time we will go ahead and configure DHCP. We'll use this router as a DHCP server to give IP addresses to each one of these computers. Um, let's go ahead and see how to do that. Let's start with the router configurations. I'm going to say no for initial dialog. Oh, guys, so I made this typo and now it's giving me this. You can push and hold Control Shift and 6 and it stops trying to do the search. It's really helpful when that kind of stuff happens. So, Conf T. All right. And actually, what I'm going to do is, okay, cool. So as you can see, these devices do not have an IPv4, a subnet mask, or anything configured yet. I'm going to configure DHCP, and then uh, click on, I'm going to swap static to DHCP, and it will auto configure an IP address, a subnet mask, and a default gateway on each of these five end hosts. So again, let's get started on the router. Move this over here so it's easier to see. Move this over here so I'm out of the way. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna turn this interface on, and I'm going to give it an IP address after I turn it on. IP address, and let's go ahead and okay. Sorry, I don't have it written down on the Cisco packet tracer. But let's make this VLAN 10. Let's assume there's other VLANs out there, but we're just going to focus on this one for the sake of time. And our VLAN 10 network is going to be the same as last time. So let's say 192.168.1.1, 255.255.255.0. Do right. And you might be thinking, hey, this is still down. And you are absolutely right. We are going to configure the switch to turn on that interface. So command line interface. We have this one set up. Now we need the corresponding interface from the switch to the router to be set up as well. So interface G0/0. Oh, take that off. Uh-oh, did I mislabel these? I did. That's okay. I'll still be able to fix that later down the road. So interface. This is actually G0/1. I'm going to say no shutdown. I'm going to say oh no. We are going to see real quick. I'm going to make this a switch port. Switch port, access, switch port, access, VLAN 10. Okay, VLAN 10, IP address 192.168.1.254. Sorry, everyone. I should have done this instead. There we go. 6.8.4. There we go. So VLAN has an IP address assigned to it. And this is still in a down state just because I configured the wrong interface. This is actually interface G00. So let me just go ahead and just delete this right now. So it's less confusing. All right, so it's G00. But you might be thinking, oh man, we already configured the IP address that we wanted on the wrong interface. That's perfectly fine. We are still logged into the interface 0/1. What we can do is, you see how I have this here? I can just copy. I could also just push up, but if you ever were to use do show IP address, this is the method you can use. Do show IP interfaces brief, sorry. You could copy the IP address, paste it, Control A, and we don't want that IP address assigned to that interface. We'll say no. And if we say do show IP interfaces brief, the interface brief, we will see now that 0/1 is up, but there is no IP address. And now we actually don't want that interface up. It's the wrong one. I messed up. So we want to say shut. So now it's going to be in a down state. There we go. The one we actually do want to configure is interface G0/0. Go shutdown, IP interface, IP address 192.168.1.1, 255.50. Do it right. Okay, so that's set up. Let's say do show one, just to make sure I got the right one. Um, Looks good. So before I actually can do the configuration for each DHCP, let's configure all these interfaces leading up to the end device as switch ports for VLAN 10. So um, instead of doing one at a time, we'll do them all at the same time. Exit, interface, range, F0/1, F0/2, F0/3, F0/4, F0/5. So I'm going to be changing all these at the same time. And we'll say switch port, mode access, switch port, access, VLAN 10. Do right. So as you can see, these have all changed, and they actually changed to listening status. So the orange you see here is part of a protocol known as STP, Spanning Tree Protocol. Um, this interface, unless configured to do so, will not go up immediately. It takes about 45 seconds. It's basically listening. So it's doing this. It's listening, and it's making sure, hey, there's nothing on the other side that can cause a loop, a storm, anything of that kind of sort, layer 2 specifically. But as you can see now, it's set up. We'll go ahead and exit out of this. All of our configurations are set up, and we are ready to now do DHCP. Um, so I will click on the router, and let's see. We'll say exit. Okay, so now when we configure DHCP, we want to be in configuration mode. We'll say IP DHCP. But you can see if we type in IP, you put a question mark, you can see all of our options. And this is the one we want. So put DHCP. Let's start off with configuring an excluded address range. And the reason behind this is if you have a DNS server, if you have networking devices, anything of that kind of sort, you don't typically want them to have a dynamic IP address, because what if a device is trying to reach them and they remembered the IP address they had, 2 weeks ago? We typically would want those kind of devices to stay the same. So let's say excluded address we'll say, let's say the first 10 or 20 IP addresses of VLAN 10. 1 all the way up to, and it can be anything. Like, let's say if you think you have like a, if you think you're going to have like, I don't know, 5 network devices that you want to have a static IP address for, I would always shoot for higher because it just future proofs your network here for DHCP. So let's just say we have 0.10. So that's going to say, hey, DHCP, you can use every single IP of the 192.168.1.0 network except 1 through 10. And then we would go to IP DHCP. We want to create a pool of IP addresses that we can use. We want to give this a name. I'm just going to call it VLAN 10. Okay, and now from DHCP configuration, we have multiple things we will have to configure. Let's push question mark. Default router. So we'll type in default, and you don't have to type in the whole thing. Push tab, and then this is basically the gateway leading up to VLAN 10. So it's going to be the same as 1.1. Boom. Okay, and I'm going to push up. Actually, I'm sorry guys, I lied. I'm going to push question mark. The DNS server. So if you had a DNS server on your network, this is where you would apply that. Domain name, we can just say the name of your domain. Let's just say for us it's going to be Rex Network. Hmm? And lastly, for our presentation, we will specify which network is going to be utilizing DHCP. So, and we also have to include the subnet, which is boom, do right, save our configurations. Now, we have DHCP all set up. We configured the pool, the default route, the default router, sorry, the default route. And now let's go to the individual PCs themselves and see what kind of IPs we get. So as you can see, it's still in static. It's still the choice is static or DHCP. Let's click DHCP. This grays out. It gives us the default gateway of 192.168.1.1. That's the um, IP address of this interface we assigned for VLAN 10. Fast Ethernet 0 we will go to. And we can see that DHCP assigned EC4 with the very first IP address out of the excluded address zone. Let's make sure, let me go ahead and click on these computers as well. Configuration, as you can see, it's stuck on static right now. So we'll just push DHCP. And there we go, 192.168.1.12 with the subnet mask. And it's going to give us that default IP default router as well. We'll click on this one. There's our default gateway. There's our IPs. And folks, that's it for DHCP. DHCP is actually fairly simple to configure on a network. Um, let's just check our last computer. I push DHCP. This just saves you a lot of time. Imagine statically assigning like 300 PCs. That would be rough. So there we go. Thank you for watching and have a good day.